Hello and welcome to how I play my level 95 Mage. So let's jump right into it here. We're going to talk about spells, we're going to talk about hotbars, we're going to talk about all this stuff. We're going to talk about pet gear and anything else that comes up. So first up, only the most important spell I think is Twin Cast. Now I only have rank 1, ideally you want rank 3. It's a level 85 spell. It never gets upgraded, never gets changed. So rank 3 of Twin Cast is the best. Requires a raid though, so stay tuned for that when we get to 125. I do this. It allows me to Twin Cast any of my damaging spells. So if I do a 2000 nuke, I do two 2000 nukes with a single cast, right? Pretty nice. Next up, I have Ruthless Servant. This is our level 95. Swarm pet, it just summons out a little swarm of pets here. Let's just do it. Let's see, there's one. It's only one right now, I think. It used to be like 3 pets, but they like changed it to reduce lag, so it's like one guy. So he just goes out there and does his job. He does, you know, pretty nice damage. What is that? 200, 1700 flurries. Like, he's better than the shaman pet, I'll tell you that. Then I have a Strike of the Many. So this is our pet nuke, right? What this does is it does damage based on how many pets are currently attacking the target. Now, as a mage, I can get, you know, 2 or 3 pets out there at all times. So you can see here between it does 14,000 with 3 to 6. I am boxing a Beast Lord, a Shadow Knight, a Shaman, and a Bard, all of which have swarm pets that can be sent out there and do more damage along with their standard summon pets. So I can typically hit this 7 or more pets and doing the 24,000 damage. Now, I used to run 2 mages. I'm running a wizard now as the other one, and you know, I lose some of that there, but the wizard utility makes up for any of that. But it's one of our strongest nukes. And then I have Fickle Flames, which will strike our target with 7,000 nuke, and then it has a chance to increase the damage of the next spell. So it's pretty nice there. Then I have Spear of Molten Steel, which is our big nuke at this level, is 18,000. It's pretty nice. Do that on cooldown. I do have my pet that I summon. I summon the level 91 air pet, and I keep that memorized at all times. At level 96, this will replace with the next one. I prefer air pets because of the little extra stun they do. I don't have a stunning class, if you will. Like, I'm a Shadow Knight. If I had a paladin, maybe I'd do like water. But for the most part, I like having the extra stuns from the pet, right? So it's just personal preference, I think. Water does more damage, but I'll take a little less damage for a little extra stuns. Then I have Famished Flames, which is a buff I put on the tank to give him extra damage shield. It's just a short duration damage shield. And then I have Summon Blazing Orb. I've been experimenting with these clicky items. The Blazing Orb being the current one. Now if we open that up, right? So the Blazing Orb does a nuke, and you click it. It's 3,900 nukes, almost 4,000. On, you know, whatever the cooldown is on that. Now, I actually kind of like it. Now, I have to manually, you know, go here and summon orbs and mod rods and all that stuff. I don't have any automation to do any of that for me, but you know, clicking on the orb to summon it, you know, it's like one round, one spell. It's not too bad. And I feel like it puts a little bit extra damage in there because it does go in between spells. Like, it'll activate in between casting all this stuff, so it's kind of nice. Then I have Gather Capacity, which is just a kind of like a harvest for a mage. Like, it just gives us mana, and which is something I run low on a lot because I am casting a lot of spells. Then I have Mass Arcane Transvergence, which is one of our mod rods. We get 2 mod rods at this level. We have the AA Shard of Modulation, and then the Rod of Arcane Transvergence. That between the 2 of those, that's 6 charges of Moderadian power. You can see here, this one restores 7,500 mana, and this one restores 23. Or this one does 22,000 mana. So, I mean, they are what they are. Like when they run out, I get spam here in my window, and that just when I look over to that screen, I'm like, oh, I need to summon a new one, and I'll summon it. But I have mana issues on this character just because I'm casting so many spells and I don't stop. My play style is never stop. Like when I'm playing, I go constantly. I stop. The only time I stop is when somebody important is like having issues, right? Like my Shadow Knight has no mana, my Shaman has no mana, which doesn't happen very often. Other than that, the DPS characters, if they have no mana, they have no mana, but this really helps with that, keeping her, mana in a decent level. Right now I have Call of Hero in the slot 11 here. Now, this is my favorite spell. At level 100, we get Group Call of Hero, which will be my even more favorite spell, because this summons all my characters to me. And this one's, obviously single target, so I have to summon them. But once I have Group Call of Hero, the way I do some of the videos will change in the Hobbs and Friends series, because I will just run the Mage to places and summon these guys there, because inside of the corridors and some of these dungeons, auto follow just does not work really well. And then finally, I have Arcane Symbiosis. This is Symbiosis, I guess is the way to say that. It just gives us more mana regen, and currently with elemental form and everything, we are at 797 mana regen. I believe we have Coruscant, so that's the Bard song. So there's some, we got some benefit. I do have level 120 clarity from my enchanter, but other than that, that's pretty much that. So it's it's pretty good mana regen, but I still burn through that pretty quick. Now, other spells I cast Aura, Arcane Distillect, which is right here. If I can get come on, give me this really. All right, let's just clear that. Let's see, pets, miscellaneous buffs, Aura, Arcane Distillect. This improves pet damage. Now this works in a interesting way. I wish I could get the buff. Oh yeah, actually, I should be. What does that look like? It's a hand. This one. There we go. And boost your pet buff by 15%. Now, since it's an aura, it hits everybody. So like I clicked the warder here for the Beast Lord. He has it too. So this is very beneficial. All pets in the group get an extra 15% damage. So it's almost mandatory to have it on at all times. Next up, I have the current level damage shield. So I always have a damage shield going no matter what. Then I buff my pet with Ice Flame Armor, which is a defensive buff. So your Ice Flame Armor cloaks your pet in Ice Flame Ward, which will damage any creature that strikes your pet. So it gives your pet a damage shield, grants your chance to proc on them, and the attack will reflect a prismatic ward, protecting your pet for a rune. So it's kind of like a defensive, offensive buff for the pet. Now, you see here, I do have pet taunt on. I do keep all my pets taunting, except for the Shadow Knight and the Shadow. Well, no, I do have the Shaman pet taunting. I don't have the Shadow Knight pet taunting because it sucks. But I have that going, and these pets, they will take off, a round or two, because the Shadow Knight can maintain our aggro good enough. But it's nice to have, and this is just something defensive that's on the pet here to keep him up. Then I have Burnout. What is that? 10. Doesn't look like we actually have it on now, so let's cast it. And here we go. So infuses your elemental companion with energy, increasing their damage, attack speed, attack rating, and armor class and strength. So this is a all around good pet buff. It's the pet buff for the mage pet, and you want to keep that on at all times. Let's see here. That's all the other spells I cast for the most part. Multi-bind wise, so let's take a look at this here. My hotbars, I have hide corpse NPC. This just hides corpses and whatnot, and forages. I have a button here for call a hero, so if I'm on my other character, I just target like Hobbs or something, and then I can hit 2 and he will call a hero that one character. Kind of convenient if I'm trying to do some tricky pull and I don't want to have to like alt tab between, the characters and stuff like that. My assist button is pretty busy. It's, X target 19, which is whatever the main assist is targeting. Pet attack, blazing orb, mod rod 1, mod rod 2. Now I do not have pet swarm in here for some reason. I ran out of lines, in all honesty. So, that's unfortunate there. Now, something I'll probably fix. I can't, I have these, a pet swarm button here, right? Like this, just, sometimes it breaks it. Like the whole multi-bind just breaks because that's inside the multi-bind. I don't know why. I'm going to put it back in there. Maybe it was the auto inventory one that was breaking it before, but it was, I don't know, I was having issues while making a video and I just took them out. But it goes into that. And then for my multi-bind, I have host of elements, which summons our AA swarm pets, which is 3 level 87 elementals. They could just attack the target. And then ruthless servant, which is our swarm pet spell. Then I do twin cast, and then I do strike of the many, fickle flames, and then spear. That gives us kind of the most thing out of that. I sometimes I feel like I should put fickle before strike, but when these are all on cooldown and going through, they the order doesn't even matter, honestly. They change order all the time. Then I have Force of Elements, which is just an AA nuke, does 5,900 damage. Companion Shielding. Now, since I do have Pet Taunt on, I do try to do this Companion Shielding, as much as I can. It does, take out of my, a global cooldown, right? I'm losing a spell slot here, but this is a 15-minute reuse, so once it's on, it's on for, I guess the 12 seconds it lasts for, 60 seconds, it's there. I can probably move this to a different button, and I might do that in the future if I feel like I need to, but at the moment I don't care. I just do it on cooldown. And then I have Servant Row, which is a 9-minute cooldown that summons a level 96 fire elemental that does a 7,500 nuke on the target for looks to be 60 seconds. So it's pretty nice when that procs and you get that out there. Companion of Necessity. So this is another summon a pet to do some taunting and stuff like that. This summons a level 95 elemental to do some taunting. It does area taunt and stuff like that. This just takes pressure off my Shadow Knight and lets him not have to, worry about, whatever we're fighting, right? It takes a little pressure off. Now, he's maintaining aggro on almost everything except for whatever the pet is taunting. So, taking that one mob out is really nice. And then I have Turn Summoned, which doesn't get activated very much, but it doesn't interfere with the multi-bind at all being in there. In House of Thule tier 3 in the upper floors, they're actually fire elementals. And other elementals, you can see here I have the quest, because that's what I was doing, to go and do, that. So this actually gets used, which it's a 4,000 nuke to summoned with a chance to do 32,000. So it's a pretty nice spell. And then I just added this pet swarm right in there, and we'll see how that goes long term, if that's actually doable. And then I do, at the moment, I have gather capacity inside the multi-bind. This is a 12-second cast, so it can lock me up for 12 seconds at times. Now, I haven't decided how I want to go with this. I'm considering moving it to here to my, it's already in the short-term buff. So I feel like I don't need it here anymore. It's something I've, had in there for a while. So let's just go ahead and take it out. I'm going to leave it into the short-term X target buffs, because these are what buff my tank. And this, I have harvest on the wizard on the same button, so it actually kind of makes sense to put it there like that. So that should keep us going pretty well, and we won't get locked up for 12 seconds. Let's see here. Now I have burns. Silent casting, Heart of the Skyfire. So silent casting lowers our threat. Heart of the Skyfire increases our spell damage by 60%. No, wait. Reduces our hatred by 60%. Increases our damage by 50 to 110%. So it's pretty nice. Then we have Spire, which blesses everybody in the group with Apex of the Elements. 3, which grants every melee attack a chance to do 900 damage. And a 200 point damage shield, so it's pretty nice. Improved Twin Cast, which is another Twin Cast. Allows us to do 16 spells for 2 minutes. So Twin Cast and Improved Twin Cast do not stack. But since I'm running Twin Cast on cooldown, it's most likely not up at the same time I do this. So it works out that way. Forceful Rejuvenation. This is just refreshes any spell timers that are down. Except for Twin Cast. Burn 2 is Focus Arcanium, which is just a resist modifier. And then Thaumaturge is, what is this? Thaumaturge is Focus. Let's see here. Increases the base damage of direct spells by 20 to 35%. And 10% extra damage, or extra chance to crit. But it increases the mana significantly. I would, it's a pretty nice spell. It's a nice burn. You're burning your mana really quick to get out more damage. So that's kind of how that works. Then we have Frenzied Companion. Let's see right here, Frenzied Companion. Increases our pet prowess for 42 seconds. So this makes our pet godlike. Increases his attack power by 200. 33% chance it'll crit, and increase the damage by 139%, and more flurries, right? Increases the pet damage significantly. And then we have use Nida item 17, which is our robe. Let's see here. What does this one do? You command your pet to occasionally strike the enemy with obedient flurry. These strikes damage your pet's target and power the next direct damage spell by 20 to 50 more damage. And you can get 16 of those. So it's, something for the pet to do more damage. And then I have Blood Drinker's Coating in here just because I have it on me. Because this character persona, right, is a monk and a rogue. So that's in there just because she has that item. Now on my 125 mage, I do melee, and that's just because the mobs I'm fighting at 125 with my paladin group last longer than what I'm doing now. Now, long term, I am going to make this character melee with everybody else, but at this point, this just mobs die so fast, it doesn't even matter, right? So we'll see how long term at in the Outer Brood, I guess, when mobs have, 1 billion hit points or whatever, it's going to be how she works out with melee. I feel like that's going to be, how that goes. But hotbar wise, that's pretty much everything. All these are just, most of these things here are just indicators for buffs that are multi-bound or something else, right? Gear wise, I think that's probably the next step. Actually, yeah, gear-wise. So for the mage, the most important item is the earring. I would say number 1. This is whatever earring has enhanced minion on it. So I have enhanced minion, what is this, 11. So it increases the pet a little bit, you know, gives it a little bit more power. You want the best you can get. I think this is the best I can get right now, but eventually you're going to want, at 125 plus, you're going to want to get the raid ones if you can. The Lorien Song Raid earring is about 10 million right now on FV, so it'll go down, and then the Outer Brood one will come out, and it'll eventually go. Night of Shadows, I think, is 2 million, and so on and so on. So it just depends, but you want the best earring you can get with the highest enhanced minion you can get. Next up, I would say the arms are the next important. So this has the fire focus on it. You want that. The helmet has magic based. So if you're casting the Shock of Steel line instead of the fire line, you're gonna want that. I don't think any of these other ones are really relevant. That one's just buff increase. The rings are like cast time, I think. Yeah, mana reduction. Mana reduction. And one of these has his spell haste on it. You want that. But whatever it is. So like that. Like the gear I'm wearing is the Grandiose gear. So this is Veil of Valeris gear. I bought from for Marks of Valor from the Call of the Forsaken vendors in Western Karana. I have the 8 visible for that, and then for the non-visible, I have the tower gear from the Year of the Darkpaw stuff, the Oasis of whatever quests, and it ends up being slightly better in certain cases, that gear over the other stuff. That, and I didn't want to go farm Marks of Valor to be able to afford all the slots for all 6 characters, so it was easier to farm up the timeless tokens than it is to farm up Marks of Valor. So that's pretty much how that goes. Weapon wise, I went with the Mage weapon that's on the vendor, which is a one-handed blunt. Obviously not the best. You're going to want to use a two-hander with a high proc on there, so you can trigger the sympathetic proc when you cast spells, and then when you're meleeing, you're going to proc that. You know, like at 125, it's like a 16,000 nuke or something like that. But this one is, it does a Strike of Venom, which is 255 damage over 2 ticks. I don't know if that's like 2 ticks at 255 or that's like 255 divided by 2. I don't know. I haven't really paid much attention to it yet. Actually, let's melee for a second here. Let's see if we can get that to proc. I'm getting Lion Maul. So Lion Maul comes from the Shaman proc there. Oh, there it is right there. Pulse of Venom. So, let's see here. Pulse of Venom. Where is that? So I'm getting 666 damage from Pulse of Venom from there. So yeah, it's extra damage. That's significantly more damage than what it says, so that's probably focused by... I thought it was the wristband, but I guess not. So that, and plus it also returns mana times 2, so that's kind of nice to have there for the Mage. And I'm just using whatever shield was available. But yeah, and then you're going to want the best power source you can get a hold of, because it'll give you more mana regen and stuff like that. Ideally, I want to get into, like, I think it's about 1500 to 2000 mana regen is where I feel I don't have mana problems anymore. That's about where I'm at on my 125 Mage. So that's where we're headed with this long term. But that's pretty much the gear. Now, something I guess worth mentioning, I do have well, the Mage pet, you don't have to give any gear, right? Like weapons is the only thing you have to give it, and I do give it weapons. Now these are proc weapons. I know everybody says that giving proc weapons to a pet lowers their damage, but when you're killing a mob in like 2 to 10 seconds, doesn't matter. To me, Because if it procs, and you know, proc. What was the proc on that, right? So it's a 900 proc. You know, that's gonna crit up to something, you know, pretty nice. Plus the damage from the melee that it got. You know, it doesn't really matter at this point. I think later on, maybe towards 125, we'll do some parsing, because I'll have, you know, multiple mages. I can send a pet with weapons, a pet without weapons. I could send, you know, all the different pets from Beast Lord, and we can test them all and see, like, you know, does it matter, and see how that goes. So we'll do that at 125 when everybody's there. But right now, like, he's got like all the gear that you can summon. I did make macros to summon gear and give them off to like my other characters, like my Beast Lord. I try to keep her pet geared up as much as I can. So like if I want to give her, like, say the armor, I go like this, and the Grant Manaforge plate spell summons a little bag on her hand. Let me see if I can, it'll cast, right? So it casts, like, so you see here, like, that's the visor from earlier. There's the bags, and then you just click these and it expands out into this, and you can then give it out to you know, your pet and stuff like that. It makes it really easy, and I just have like buttons for each of the ones. Now the visor is it's an one-off here, but it gives a little bit of haste and some other stats, so I feel like it's worth using. It's a little bit lower level, but it's better than the belt of the Magicot or whatever it was that you have at Kunark level. But that is the Mage. I cannot think of anything else to go on and say. If there's any questions or comments, please let me know. I feel like I've made, you know, multiple mages at this point. I've played them one or two of them all the way to 125. Played 1 to 120. Playing this one. This one's going to go all the way to 130 for sure. And, you know, no problem there. But I feel like I'm doing everything right now. I already have videos for, I think, already 90 plus, and I'm kind of redoing them with this character, because I do change some things from videos. So the most current video is the most up to date, right? So the Hobbs and Friends series character here, it was the Nomagard character before, but it's the same stuff. I just copied the UIs between the two characters when I was running two mages. But I feel like this is, you know, the best way to play a boxed mage. Now, if you're playing a non-boxed mage, you might change some things and do a few things different. But for the most part, I feel like you're going to be casting the same spells, doing the same stuff. I can't think of anything else. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And please have a fantastic day.